There are serious health concerns for the legendary country singer Dolly Parton.
This morning, fans are rallying around Dolly Parton as the 79-year-old country music.
The world of country music has been shaken. Fans from Nashville to Tokyo are heartbroken, and tributes are pouring in from every corner of the globe. Dolly Parton, the woman whose songs, smile, and spirit defined an era, is reportedly facing one of the toughest battles of her life. For over 6 decades, she has been the glittering soul of country music, the voice behind timeless classics like Jolene, Coat of Many Colors, and I Will Always Love You. But now, at 79, the beloved legend has made a heartbreaking revelation that left fans in tears. In a recent private conversation that quickly spread through her close circle and then to the media, Dolly admitted that she's been quietly dealing with health challenges far more serious than anyone realized. And for the first time, she hinted that she's preparing to say goodbye, not just to the stage, but to the life she's lived under the spotlight for nearly 70 years. Those who know Dolly best describe her as strong, faithful, and endlessly optimistic, a woman who never let pain stop her from smiling. But now, even she seems to know that the time has come to face a chapter she's long feared. As friends, family, and fans rally around her, one thing has become heartbreakingly clear. Dolly Parton's journey may be nearing its final curtain, and the world is not ready to let her go. For decades, Dolly Parton seemed untouchable, a symbol of endless joy, sparkling humor, and unstoppable energy. She wasn't just a singer. She was a force of nature. Whether it was performing at sold-out shows, writing new songs in the middle of the night, or laughing her way through interviews, Dolly always had that signature twinkle in her eye. But as close friends would later reveal, that sparkle began to dim in recent months. It started subtly. She canceled a few appearances, something almost unheard of for the country superstar. She postponed a studio session here, a charity event there. Her team initially brushed it off as exhaustion, but those who truly knew her sensed something deeper was happening. In late 2024, fans noticed that Dolly had grown quieter on social media. The once bubbly posts, filled with jokes and positivity, were replaced with brief, heartfelt messages about gratitude and reflection. One particular post in early 2025 read simply, "I'm learning to slow down and cherish the little things, the laughter, the love, and the memories that made this journey worth every step." At first, it seemed like Dolly was just taking a well-deserved rest. After all, she had spent nearly her entire life in the spotlight, performing since she was a child growing up in the Great Smoky Mountains of Tennessee. But when her longtime friend and collaborator hinted in an interview that Dolly was going through something tough, the speculation began to spread. Sources close to the star began to confirm what many had feared. Dolly had received a serious diagnosis. The exact details were kept private, as Dolly has always been fiercely protective of her personal life. But it was enough to cause concern among her inner circle. She reportedly told a close friend, "I don't want people to feel sorry for me. I've had the most beautiful life anyone could ask for." Those words sent chills through those who loved her. In true Dolly fashion, she continued working quietly behind the scenes. She recorded voiceovers for a children's project, wrote songs for an upcoming movie, and even oversaw expansions at Dollywood, her beloved theme park in Pigeon Forge. But the people closest to her noticed how much effort it took. "She's still smiling," one insider said softly. "But you can tell the smile takes a little more strength now." Dolly has always said she'd never truly retire, that she'd just drop dead on stage, in full glam. But as her health began to decline, even she began to reconsider. During a private conversation with her goddaughter, Miley Cyrus, she reportedly confessed, "Maybe it's time to slow down. Maybe it's time to say goodbye the right way." For fans, the idea of a world without Dolly Parton feels unthinkable. She isn't just a singer, she's part of the fabric of American music. From humble beginnings in a one-room cabin to becoming an international icon, her journey has inspired millions. Now, as news of her condition spreads, Fans have flooded social media with love, prayers, and memories. Across the world, candlelight vigils, tribute concerts, and heartfelt messages have begun appearing, each one reflecting just how deeply she has touched the hearts of people everywhere. Though she's facing her toughest fight, Dolly Parton's strength and grace continue to shine. And those who know her best say that even now, even through pain, that she's determined to leave behind one final message of hope. Behind Dolly Parton's radiant smile and rhinestone-studded gowns has always been a woman of remarkable strength, a strength few ever truly saw. She spent decades giving the world happiness, but what she faced in private was often far from glitter and gold. When news quietly spread among close friends about her diagnosis, Dolly made one thing clear. She didn't want pity, and she didn't want tears. "I've lived a life bigger than I ever dreamed," she reportedly said. "I just want to face this my way, with faith, love, and maybe a few more songs." For months, Dolly kept her health struggles hidden. Only her closest circle, including her husband Carl Dean, her siblings, and a few trusted team members, knew the full story. She continued to smile for cameras even when she was in pain. Insiders say that behind closed doors, she was still writing music, often from her bedroom or her porch overlooking the Tennessee hills. "She told us that music was her medicine," said one friend. Even on her worst days, she'd pick up her guitar and hum. She said singing made her feel alive. But as her condition worsened, she began to make quiet changes. She canceled an upcoming tour that had been in early planning stages. She started spending more time at her Nashville estate and less in the public eye. And perhaps most tellingly, she began organizing her personal letters and recordings, something those close to her believe is part of a final farewell project. Those who have worked with her for years say she's been recording personal messages, writing unreleased songs, and preparing special tributes for fans to hear after she's gone. "She told us she wants people to feel love, not sadness," one longtime producer revealed. She's turning her goodbye into a gift. Faith has always been at the center of Dolly's life, and during these recent months, it became her anchor. She's often been spotted attending private church services or praying with her family. Friends say she's found peace in her faith, saying, "If this is my time, I'm ready. I've done all I could to make this world a little kinder." But even as she prepared herself emotionally, her loved ones struggled. Her husband, Carl, who has always lived a private life far from Hollywood's glare, has reportedly been devastated but deeply supportive. Their love story, which began in 1964 and endured nearly 60 years, is one of the most private yet enduring romances in showbiz. Carl once said, "People think of Dolly as a star, but to me, she's just the girl I fell in love with at the laundromat." That simple. Quiet love has become her greatest source of comfort. In recent months, friends say the couple has spent more time together than ever, taking long drives, sitting by the fire, and reminiscing about the early days before fame took over. Dolly's health may be declining, but her laughter, her warmth, and her love for life haven't faded. Still, there's a quiet sadness among those who love her, the realization that even legends can't live forever. Yet if there's one thing Dolly Parton has taught the world, it's how to face hardship with grace. Even in her darkest moments, she refuses to let pain dim her light. And as she continues to write and record in secret, it's becoming clear that Dolly isn't just preparing to say goodbye. She's crafting one last masterpiece, a final message to the world that made her a star. When word began to spread that Dolly Parton was quietly working on something she called her final gift, fans and friends alike were curious and a little afraid. After all, Dolly never did anything halfway. Whether it was an album, a movie, or a charity project, she poured her soul into it. So when whispers emerged that she was recording her farewell, people knew it would be something unforgettable. For months, Dolly had been spending long hours in her private recording studio at her Nashville estate, sometimes early in the morning, other times late into the night. Those close to her say that even when she was too weak to sing standing up, she'd sit by the microphone and softly hum melodies that felt like goodbyes set to music. The project, reportedly titled Bluebird's Song, was her way of leaving something beautiful behind. an album filled with songs about love, loss, faith, and gratitude. She told us she didn't want anyone to cry for her, one producer shared. She said, "I want them to feel hope, to remember that no matter what happens, life is still a gift." It wasn't just an album. Sources say she's been working on a heartfelt documentary filled with unseen footage from her early days in Tennessee, her rise to fame in Nashville, and the countless moments that defined her journey. In one emotional scene, Dolly reportedly speaks directly to the camera saying, "If you're hearing this, I hope you know I never stopped loving y'all. You've been my family for as long as I can remember." Those words alone brought many of her longtime collaborators to tears. But there was something even more personal. Dolly has reportedly written a final letter, a handwritten note addressed to my fans, which she plans to have released only after she's gone. No one knows what it says, but those who've caught glimpses describe it as deeply emotional, full of love and wisdom. Her goddaughter, Miley Cyrus, has been one of the few people invited to be part of the project. The two share a bond that goes beyond music, a connection between generations that has always been rooted in love and mentorship. Miley recently told a close friend that recording with Dolly during these sessions was the hardest thing I've ever done, but also the most beautiful. Meanwhile, fans have been preparing themselves emotionally for what's coming. Across the world, country music stations have begun playing her classics more often. Candlelight vigils have been held outside Dollywood, and messages of love flood her official fan pages daily. Dolly's longtime manager once said, "When the time comes, her goodbye won't be sad, it'll be spiritual." And that seems to be exactly what Dolly wants. Even as her health declines, she's making sure her parting message uplifts others. In one of her final studio sessions, she reportedly turned to her sound engineer and smiled, saying, "You know, I'm not afraid of what comes next. I've had my say, I've sung my song." And that's Dolly in a nutshell, facing the end with the same courage, humor, and heart that carried her through every storm. Her farewell project isn't about death. It's about legacy. It's her way of reminding the world that beauty can exist even in the face of heartbreak, that laughter and faith can outlive pain, and that true legends never really say goodbye. Because even when the lights dim and the music fades, Dolly Parton's voice, that sweet, unmistakable voice, will keep echoing across generations. When the news finally broke that Dolly Parton was stepping away from the spotlight for good, it felt like the whole world stood still. Fans cried. Radio stations played "I Will Always Love You" on repeat. And across Tennessee, church bells and honky-tonks alike echoed with the same sentiment. Thank you, Dolly. It wasn't a press release or a grand farewell tour. In true Dolly fashion, her goodbye came quietly, gracefully, and straight from the heart. Through a heartfelt video message, her unmistakable Southern drawl trembled slightly as she spoke to her fans, not as a superstar, but as an old friend. "Y'all have given me a life more beautiful than I could have dreamed," she said softly, smiling through tears. "I may be saying goodbye to the stage, but I'll never say goodbye to you. You're all in my heart, always have been, always will be." The message was short but devastatingly moving. Millions watched it within hours, and the comment sections flooded with love, prayers, and decades of memories. In Nashville, an impromptu candlelight vigil took place outside the Country Music Hall of Fame. Strangers stood side by side, singing her songs, some through tears, some through smiles. The sound of "Coat of Many Colors" drifted through the night, a reminder of the humble little girl who had turned poverty into poetry. For her fellow artists, Dolly's goodbye wasn't just the end of an era, it was a moment of reflection. Country stars from every generation, from Garth Brooks to Casey Musgraves, shared their own tributes. Many credited her for opening doors for women in country music, for bringing faith and fun together, and for reminding the world that kindness is stronger than fame. Her longtime friend Reba McEntire said through tears, "She didn't just make music, she made magic. She showed us that you can be strong and soft at the same time." Behind the scenes, Dolly spent her final days surrounded by love. Family members, lifelong friends, and close collaborators visited her Nashville home often. The air, they say, was filled with laughter, music, and even her favorite sweet tea. True to her nature, she didn't want tears, she wanted joy. "Play my music loud and don't you dare wear black," she joked to a friend one evening. "I want color, sparkle, and a little rhinestone heaven when I go." And that's exactly how people chose to honor her. When her farewell event took place at Dollywood, thousands gathered dressed in pink, gold, and glitter, a reflection of her vibrant spirit. The park glowed that night, illuminated not just by lights, but by love. In her farewell letter, released days later, Dolly wrote, "Don't you cry for me now. I've had my say, I've sung my songs, and I've loved you all my life. Keep smiling for me. That's how I want to be remembered." Those words became a mantra for her fans worldwide. Dolly's passing didn't feel like an ending. It felt like a melody fading into forever. Her music still fills homes, radios, and hearts, carrying her warmth wherever it goes. And even now, her laughter, her sparkle, and her unshakable faith continue to inspire millions. As one fan wrote during a tribute concert, "The stage may be empty, but heaven just got its brightest star." Indeed, Dolly Parton's story will never truly end. Her voice will echo through time, her lyrics will keep healing broken hearts, and her legacy, built on love, laughter, and light, will remind generations to come that even when the curtain falls,